Welcome back to my workshop. As you can see here, we got our Sea King 6 by Chrysler Marine. We've got some new fuel line for it. The propeller is out of true as far as I could tell. It really looked like it, so I went and got another best one I could find for it, which I'm hoping will fit. It looks like it will. Got a new impeller for it, filter. I'm going to install that today if I can, and get it ready for testing. Yep, that's a little plastic thing back there. Not on the motor, on the shelf. I'm not sure I'm going to get to use my station here. What I'm going to end up using is just the motor itself because it's so unruly big for my little workshop. Get you guys hooked up. There we go. And then get this back over here. Like so. And since we're going to be working on the top, I might as well take the top off. Get that done. So, yeah, I'm not sure what you guys can see or not. I'll move it around this way. I'm going to replace this line and this line because these guys are old and stiff. I'm going to put a filter in line, that carburetor, and the impeller, of course. Can't really see what you guys see at the moment. So we can move you down. Something like that. And I'm going to start here, I think. See what we can't get done. Oof. And the big old screwdrivers for when we start undoing this part of it. Rearrange this just a tidbit. That's going to be interesting. Alright. Take this off. So it has a shifter linkage that goes down in here, which you've got to get a hold of. So to do that, I might actually split the bottom part right here and here from each other first, because hopefully that will give me room, or more room, to take that apart. Let's see what size we're dealing with. That's 1/2. All right. Don't know how much room we're going to have to actually do stuff with. Oh, that's fun. Over. Let's see if I can actually get it to do anything. Aha! Just like that. I'm not going to take it all the way up off at the moment. I'm just going to loosen it up so I don't get anything out of whack. Something like that. Turn that back around. We're going to end up taking all of this off and all these guys off, which is actually going to require taking some bolts off up there. The way this thing's designed. The entire time we're going to be careful because this is a 70-pound motor. It's extremely top heavy. Let's go over here. Let's see what we can get done. Come on. There we go. I'm wondering if it's gonna let me do it or not. Okay. I got those off. Yeah, it's not fully gonna let me play like this. I need to take them all the way off, I guess. I don't hang up on anything. Try to keep these guys together. Goes right there. Let's see, I'm gonna take it off back here because I want to see what's going on if I can. Something like that. And that's our impeller in there we're trying to get to. Even though I can get to these parts right here like this, that I may want to go ahead and take it fully apart after I get this off, so that we can get to the water pipe that goes up in here, make sure that's seated in well on the drive shaft and all that. But doing it like this should give me more room. I'm gonna get you guys in here best I can. Let's see. Right in here. You can see that screw right there. There's actually two of them. You gotta get undone to get this thing off. And it can be real fun. I actually twist it back the other way. See if I can get a hold of it with this. If not, I'll have to use the actual socket. Look at that, it's coming out. All right, that's one. That's pretty good. I'm gonna move the shifter. Maybe. Try and get that thing to move up. There we go. We might have enough. Like that. Now while I'm doing this, I'm going to try to provide some kind of support for it. So once that screw comes out, I won't have much to hold it in there. Yeah, like that. Alright, I'm going to bring you guys out a little bit. Something like that. There we go. See where your focus is at. Alright. I'm going to back you up. And focus you down. About like that. And that's where our water impeller's at. Set this down for a moment. Reach up in here. Alright, looks like that water pipe is pretty happy right there. That's good. We're gonna move on. Move that back very carefully, because like I said, it's top heavy. And we'll move on to this. Let's find a good spot for you guys. Something like that. Okay. I'm gonna zoom you in like that. Refocus. Readjust. Alright. Now, to replace the impeller, it helps to have a really big screwdriver, at least for this one. Perfect. Like that. Once we get them broke off, they come off pretty easy. Like that. Because the old steel and the fragile nature of these bolts, I'm trying to spend as less time as possible actually with the screwdriver on them so we don't tear them up any more than they already are. There's actually a seal right down in there. You also gotta be careful of. Like that. We'll stick our screwdriver up here. Lift this up like that, and under here is where our impeller's at. This is the original style impeller. As it moves, it goes through and squeezes the water out. You can kind of see how it works there. All right. So there's the pin. And we need to get this thing out. There we go. Like that. We got our new one. Our new one is actually a 6 blade, sorry. And you can see the differences between the two. Fortunately, they don't make these anymore. But you can see how they're deformed. They're staying that way. I could leave this one because it does pump water, but I don't really want to get someone stranded out in the middle of nowhere because of that. So, go ahead and put our new one right up in here. Like that. Let's find where that little stem is. Right there. We'll put our little pin back in. Like that. Push it back down in there, and voila. That's how the new one works. So we want to make sure this lines back up. We'll seal okay. So we'll go back down here. Like that. Make sure the plate is lined up correctly. Stick that back down in there. Get a screw to help with that lining up. I'm gonna actually use my really big screwdriver to push this little plate together. That one looks like it lined up. Just enough to get it where it needs to be. That one looks lined up. So does that one. Let's just get them started. Like that. Like that. Since we're down in here, well, first of all, I'm gonna go and double check that we got movement on our drive shaft and such. I'll move you guys back if I can. Sorry about that. Zoom back. Okay. Yep, something like that. And it's in gear. And it moves this little thing right here very well. Okay. Well, we can actually switch gears. Not that I want to too much. But I like it is. My gear is stiff. Very stiff. Huh. Okay. Let's make sure where we're at. Alright, you guys can see. I'm gonna go back into here. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. Tighten that down. Back over here. Alright. Just a solid ugga-dugga. Solid ugga-dugga. Alright, and that is how you replace the impeller. Get you guys set back up, and then we'll reattach this. Or actually, I won't reattach this because I want to take the rest of it down. So I can make sure I get that water pipe in there right. Along with everything else. And that is gear oil, which is not actually a good sign. Where did that come from? Is that seal in there or what? But it's a good way to find out. We'll look at that more whenever I take the propeller off. Back you guys up a little bit. Something like that. Sure. All right. Let's go this way. Back over here. Pull this in. And this is going to be a real fun part. How to get you guys to see all of the stuff I'm doing with this wildly tall engine. Loosen this bracket up. There we go. Something like that. I believe. Yep. This goes up. So if you can hold it there. And we'll retarget you guys down. Like that. Try to get you guys in here a little bit better. Okay, that should work for now. Because in order to get this part off, we've got to undo some screws up here. Get these guys off. Not sure. Those are going to be the right sockets for my socket. It's not. So, we might go ahead and find our specialty tool here. Something like that. So you got the right size. There we go. Just a quick tap. Tappy tap tap tap. Okay. So here. I'm not going to be able to get to those. These guys have to come out. I don't know if you can actually see that. I'll verify. There you go. These guys have to come out before you get to these guys. Because once you get these guys out so far, they'll actually hit these nuts. And this is so wonderful. Alright. I don't want to approach that. Probably 1/2 of the other ones. And of course not. I'm going to play what size is this bolt. 7/16. What it seems to be happy with. Try breaking them off like that. And then break them off like that. And then slowly screw them out with my finger. And this is kind of a pain in the ass, and I don't like doing it because it is attached to the head. Although I don't see where it's actually coming loose, fortunately. It's almost never a good idea to crack the head unless you're ready to replace the head gasket every damn time. Let's get these guys off so I can get to the screws below it. So we can remove this piece. And we can get everything else lined up. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Then once we get the 8 bolts below that are also this crazy flathead size. Alright, so this is for the linkage. Goes over there. Goes up here. And these guys go up here. And that will free us to lower the bottom part for the most part. We still have other pieces left. We're done at the top, so I'm going to move you guys down. If I can. Drop ya. About like that. And hopefully now you can see the 4 screws we have to actually get off. There's 4 on each side that hold that on, and then you've got these 2 you can't see right now. Yeah, these 2 bolts. That's a bolt and a nut. And that will free our upper lower unit. And I'll actually start here, so I don't have to deal with it later. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Actually holding the nut on the back with my fender so that I don't have to deal with spinning in circles on me. I'm not doing anything. Can I get it out now? Yay! Okay. I'll hold that in. Temporarily, I'm gonna set this over here. Same thing to this side. Okay. And that's the wonderful inside of here. Like that. Temporarily, I'm going to stick this back on here so I don't lose where those bolts go. Not that I would anyways, I don't go anywhere else, but just in case. Try to keep them organized in some fashion. So that's that unit. And now we move up to these guys. This aside. Make sure you guys are still lined up. Yep. And I'm gonna actually start at the back. I don't know why, I just like starting back here. Okay. Normally I take them all out a little bit at a time, but yeah. Back ones are the bugbears for me. From what little I remember in this process. And these guys, I'm going to just open up a little bit. That one's loose. The good thing I just got to change the impeller. I might actually put some Loctite on it just to help it stay in place. You're only 61 years old. I don't like to stay put, I guess. Down. And here it comes. Like I said, this thing altogether weighs about 70 pounds. It does not like to play nice. So you gotta kind of take it easy with it. There we go. Over to this side. Yeah. Now it's just leaning on those two screws. Okay. Move it back over here. Probably work a lot better if you had two people. But you can always depend on gravity, you know. Usually catches things. And sometimes you're lucky you can catch them too. Alright. That's where it gets real fun. One hand on the bottom. I'm probably going to chase this screw as it falls out. That's okay. Oh, come on. I know you can loose. Yes, just like that. Now, set my screw down. And there we go. You can see where the pipe actually connects up in here. I don't know how much of that you guys can see. The gear shift sits right in there. This is your linkage. That looks like it actually might have at one time accidentally had a seal there, or a gasket maybe. It's hard to tell. But I haven't seen one. Alright. Now we're putting this back together. This water pipe, because of how it connects, you kind of want to be careful to connect it properly. Now you get your camera down in here. Why is it not doing that? Hold on. Oof. Christy, if you're listening, you may or may not want to skip through this part because the camera's going to go wee. There we go. Not too bad. Alright. Move that down. Camera down. Since you guys are so close, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. Now, you guys can see the linkage and stuff I was talking about. The brass pipe literally just connects up under here. And down here is where it goes down inside the lower unit. Okay. Now, we play the fun game. If we can get this in there correctly. It goes around like this. This goes down in there. Something like that. Go in here and make sure it goes down inside there. There it goes. Something like that. And then we got our linkage. That's totally not right. Okay. This is fun. Where does it actually want that to go? Okay, because that's back there. So let's see if we can put it through here. Okay, it kind of likes that. Cool. Now, let's see if we can't get the brass pipe fitting back into the impeller. Put my finger on the top of the pipe, push that down, something like that. Now, we need to go and put these guys back together if we can. See how they line up, like that. So much fun part. Precariously balanced. check the pipe after I do this. Okay. Java, come on. That bolt likes to stay there, it's good. It can just stay there. Okay. Come on. Yeah, that's not perfect. Looks crooked. Come on. Stop messing with me. There we go. That's much nicer. Okay. Grab the second one. Just want to shift that way. Just reach down here. Fiddle my fingers with it. Enough to get it started and very poorly in there. Okay. Something like that. Something there. Something like that. We'll check it. All right. Now, let's try to make sure the brass pipe is in there still. And push down on the top of it. Okay, it doesn't reach. Now, set this back down in here and try shifting. That did shift. Okay, that should be neutral, I think. Yeah. Groovy. And there's the brass pipe. Make sure that's in there. Just like you get it. Okay, like that. And reach back down here. Put these on somewhat. Line up the holes again. Should be right in there. Like that. And we'll tighten this up. Not all the way. We just want to make sure it's on the threads. And we'll move on to the next one. Come on. Let's check the alignment again. The alignment is dead on. Yeah, there it goes. So a quick history on this thing, so you guys can still see what I'm doing. I had originally got the top running, and after I did that I went to the lower end because I noticed the blade was out of true and it had a nick out of it. I took off the oil fitting bolts. I noticed the liquid is milky, so I had to take it completely apart, all the seals out, take all the gears out, and clean all that out thoroughly. Let it dry. Checked all the parts, made sure there's nothing wrong with them. Didn't seem like it. Put them all back in. I ordered the seals because I thought they were all metric because the top one was metric. And it turned out they were actually SAE. So I had to reorder them all, get them in here. And then they actually fit because the original ones actually leaked. The ones in millimeter. After I got them both going in there, I need another half on the other side of this. Then we were in business, so to speak. And it's sealed, and I used my carburetor tester, pressure tester actually. I used part of my compression tester, the plug, to plug onto the hole for the oil, and with that connected to my carburetor tester, pressure tester, I was able to determine that it would hold about 15 pounds of pressure with no leaks. I then went to test the impeller on water, and I actually used my drill on the drive shaft and stuck the other end in a bucket, and it squirted the water just great. I know the old impeller looked right. And after I got that resealed and took it back over to my friend's house, the top end didn't want to work. When I took it back home, I discovered the carb fuel mixture screws were out of whack. So I can only guess that I didn't have the screws, the nuts tightened on them well enough to hold them in place, or something messed with them, I don't know what. Because it did stay over there for a while. But whatever the reason, I'm gonna have to look at that again. Now we get to fit this back up in there. First I'll go ahead and test all the... Alright, that should be neutral. I think. No, that's neutral. Okay. That should be drive forward. Alright, that spins. So back to neutral. A bit of a pain in the ass about neutral. There it goes. I'm really not that happy about that. Very tight. Not sure what that's about. Probably just needs to be used. Alright, well, get back to neutral. Actually, I might leave it in drive just so I can align it with that hole better. Let's get you guys zoomed back out enough that you can see what's going on. Alright. Me waiting to myself to check the video for the sound, because it probably just made a very loud noise. Alright. Let's get this hooked back up. Zoom you guys back out. Something like that. Alright, so it's going to be lining the crankshaft up and the water inlet to there. This thing is not light. So there's the dry shaft. That lined up. Alright, should be in there right. Alright. In there. A little bit crooked, or what's going on there? Yep. Alright. Come on. it's lined up right, it should just go right in. So much fun. There it goes. Now, the real fun part is getting that water pipe to line up correctly inside there. My flat head to move that slightly. There it goes. Just like that. Now, for the fun part, I have to balance this while putting screws in. Fudge, 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 fudge. Stay. Oh, magic screw, please behave. Come on. Maybe it's a gasket, I can see it. Oh, I think. Looks like there's a space right here. Alright. This one in. Oh, magic screw, please behave. My new chant. A big ass screwdriver. Oh, go in there, go in there, go in there. Don't slip, don't strip. Come on, okay. That's a good sign. Let's go back over here. Help them line up by putting the rerun. Oh, come on. There it goes, I think. Don't slip, don't strip. Rules for life right there. Oh. I was going to use Loctite in this, damn it. Sure. After I get some bolts in, I'll take them out and do that. Alright. Seems to be holding it. I'm still going to get at least 4 of them in there before I start playing with Loctite and all that. Okay, yay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm gonna go see about that Loctite. I'm gonna use blue, so it's not too crazy. I just don't want to stick this part in. 1, 2, 3, nowadays. Okay. See how much I messed up your shot. Not too bad. Okay. About like that, sure, for now. I am ridiculously tired from that craziness. So, what I'm gonna do, take my clean rag, wipe my fenders, I'm gonna wipe the bolts. Probably don't have to be spick and span, but that's okay. Just gonna get some of the glops of grease off there. Actually, I'm gonna put them on the end, I think. Something like that. Fingerish. Completely excessive. way. That'll fudge. There's a hole in the back of it. That's alright. I don't know where that came from. Now, let's go over here and clean these guys off. So we don't have to go crazy. Just going to put a little bit on here, enough to help them stay in, hopefully. I'm sure the tolerance has worn a bit over 60 years of people working on this thing. You never know. Alright. Just a tiny bit. Something like that. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just enough to hold them in. Stick that in here. And we'll start up on it. Like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Just a little bit. There we go. Put it on the second one. Mostly just to help me keep track of which one I'm on. Hopefully keep it in place. Stuff needs about 24 hours to cure. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down right now. Okay. Okay, now let's start with the front ones. Let's put the front ones in. Got plenty of junk on them, that's for sure. Alright, that's better. Grab us any one of these. Clean this off. Something like that. Grab a Loctite. And the first few threads should help it stay in place. Doesn't have to be super tight right now. Just has to be in there a little bit snug. Because my daddy always taught me, don't over tighten things or tighten them down too much before you get them all in there. Because if there's a misalignment, it'll keep it locked in the misaligned spot. Yeah, I extended that from the original, just don't tighten them all down as you go. And rope on it, you have to wait until you get all the way through it first. Clean that off. Yeah, pretty dirty. nice liquid on there. About like that. Just add a little bit of this first few threads. I'll just stick it back up in there. Perfect solution? No. Should probably replace these things, but good luck on a 60-year-old screw. Might be able to go and find somebody who make them. They had a lathe, but I don't have one, or a CNC type thing. So I'm gonna make do. These haphazardly weird flathead bolts. I had to go buy this big screwdriver at an estate scale sale. I got lucky. Of course, this motor's from one too. That's about the only way that I found them. Alright, let's go and add this to this one. There you go. That up in there. Just slightly snug. Then we'll take the back one out. Clean it off on both sides. And just stick them back in there. There's that side. So let's go over here. Do them both at once. That looks like it's leaking through the gasket right there, which is curious. Really shouldn't be. Huh. That's groovy. I might have to take it all back down to address that. Joy. Not sure what made that leak. Maybe it has to do with the shifter? The shifter would be back in the back. Back here. You can see the gasket on there. How did that come loose? That is a bolt that's actually under here. You should right through there. So that would take it, from car taking it all apart. Just get that one part out and figure out why it's leaking. Joy of joys. one train wreck at a time. Let's get this back together. Got all our improvements on. We'll take it back apart if I need to. I'm going to take the side bolt off and see if it's just under really high pressure for some reason. I'm not sure where that would come from or why, but I feel like it'd be funner than redoing it all. I'm gonna have to anyway. One train wreck at a time. Let's do the top part after this. Get all the lines updated. And then I'll go back down to the bottom. Alright, now I can start tightening them down. Alright, front to back. Back. Front. Let's go over here and do this one. Side. 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 Backside. Let's go over here. Check here. That one's on. Check here. That one's tight. That one's tight. That one's tight. That's tight. That's tight. All right. Tight back together. I'll close the pipes over here. Put that away. Fingers off slightly. Put this little brace back on. Help it stay in place. And it's still leaking the marine oil out of there. Marine gear oil. He's no happy. Everything back in place first. You have to take it apart. Why? I don't know. Just stay organized and on task. Gotta make circles. I'm gonna get down to the first run first. And that looks like a Zerk fitting. Very well painted over. There's another one up there. I'm not sure they're real. Zerk fittings are tiny. So maybe, I don't have one of those right now. I have to pick one up. Grab this. Flip this over. Put this over. Wrong way. Nice little ugga-dugga. Let's get these guys going. Check this one. Alright, those are on. Now, let's go back up here. Reconnect these guys. Try and get you guys in here. You can see what I'm doing. There we go. So like that. Okay. These bolts back on. I think these were the ones that were a little bit smaller. 7/16. Why is that one so far out still? There we go. And that's how, on a 1966 CT6 made by Chrysler Marine, you can change the impeller. Given that gasket location, I might just take it apart down there and try that, see if I can put it back together that way. It's just a lower unit on the lower unit. Actually, that's wrong. I don't want to bump one, tightening the other. So, one small ugga-dugga. This back up here. One small ugga-dugga. Okay, this one's clearly labeled top. Alright, this one's clearly labeled bottom. It had a nice pop to it. Why this one don't? Sure. That is that. Now let's move you guys back. And I get to figure out what the best piping is going to be for replacing these lines. So we'll actually flip this around so I can see the lines. And you guys too. Pick up the bottle there. See what you guys can see. All right. Zoom you in a little bit. Quick readjust. That should do. All right, so this one goes around here, not in a great way. Should probably be plumbed somehow else, but I'm not sure how else. Huh. Okay. Let's grab some pliers and we'll figure it out. Carefully move that back. I need to go get some injector style hose clamps. Can I get that with just my fingers? Not really. Hold on. Here we go. A bit better. Like that. And then we're going to go over here. Take it off this side. Like that. Like that. This line's a 1/4 size, which I've got new ethanol compatible lines. Not that ethanol should ever touch this thing for whatever reason. Yeah, these lines are so fucking gone. This old thing has so many parts in it probably that it just ripped apart by ethanol. Let's temporarily pull this off. Not that we need where we're going. Alright. Just for giggles, let's play with a few configurations and see how and or where would be the best way to get the fuel line over there. Okay. I kind of like that. But that would also touch there, I think. Yeah, it would. So that's not great. I'm not sure there's a good way to go that wouldn't touch something somewhere. So if we went around this way, like that, that would stop the choke and throttle. If I went under it, I could also do the same thing. Not quite as bad. Oh no, it hit right there. Huh. So maybe above and back here was the best way, but damn, it don't seem right. Huh. I feel like there should be a better way for that to go around. Personally, travel, I guess. Stop is stopped. This goes around here fast. Does that go all the way travel? Not fully. But that's as far as it's set up to go. Alright. Let's get the line off this side. Come on. Grounding wire. Stupidest place in my opinion to put a grounding wire, but sure. Alright, now let's grab this one off here. Not that I plan on using it, but just in case. This line is seriously riddled as shit. Alright. This is our new line. 100 PSI. Fuel injection hose J30R9. Fully capable of running ethanol if I wanted, or they wanted, or it wanted, or whatever. I'm gonna find a good way to run this hose because I want it to run with the filter. If I run back around here, is that going to intersect anything? Yes, it is. That would intersect that part of the hose. So if I run this on this side, and then around like that, what's that going to run into? Same throttle problem. I'd have to run down somehow and then up. Something like that, maybe? Oh. So if I ran it down here, just hunky-dory like, that would interfere possibly with the latch for the hood, maybe. It doesn't really mess with that, or that, so that might actually be a way to do it. Not great, but at least it's not near moving parts. Can we get it to go up through there? By any chance? I doubt it. Oh, look at there. It kind of does. It's a sharp turn to make, though. I don't think it'll like that. And it's putting pressure on the carb plate. So that's not great. Wait. Yeah, I think we pondered that already. Because if we hooked it up here, it's clear of all that. It would rub on that. Which is not good. Wait. So that has an angle to it there. But I wonder if... No, the hose is there. If we went the long way around, the stupidest way possible, just to try, what do we end up with? Okay. And that goes up here. That would still hit part of that, and it would have the whole heating of the engine touching it all the time. Not to mention a whole lot of extra line being used. I'm guessing the way it was routed is about the only way safe to run it. Safe being a very interpretive word apparently in the 1960s. So, next question is, where are we going to put our little filter? So, alright, there's the flow line. If I wanted to put it over here, let's back this hose off a little bit and pretend I stuck it there. That could work, and it would force some space between some stuff. It may interfere with that. Not too much. I might get away with that. The other possibility is to stick it over here, like that. Which I kind of like. I might do that, but look better over here, over here. In terms of length of pipe, I don't think it matters, but let's go through here. I want to see what that pipe length looks like. If we just stuck that on there for now, let's see. Okay, so it's better with a swoop in it. Some kind, I think. There, or zip tied to that. That would work better. Thought it'd look sleeker like this, but it's messing with this wire. I'll do that. That's better, but it moves it far too close for comfort to that little spinny thing up there. Flywheel. So, better off like that. That works. So then, getting it around there, question is, am I going to put it here or there? I don't know. I'm going to pretend like I'm not putting it in line and cut the link to that so I have a little bit extra. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. A little bit extra. Give. Thank you. Okay, so that is one messy line. Just got on there for now. Let's text our functions. It still hits that line. Check. I don't know why they set it up to that. And the question is about that filter. If I put it here, it's going to have a hellacious loop there, but you can see what's in it immediately. Or you can stick it over here, get your wheels separated from that a little bit more. Okay. But I won't give it much room there. It's not going to have much room either way, but at least over here it will be less likely to get heated up by the motor. That's what I'm thinking. Let's undo this for a moment. Put it on here. Let's look at that. Okay. Put it down like that. Still going to interrupt that. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, kind of like that. Hang down. Okay. So let's do that. Leave that extra amount there. And let's measure out for that nice hang where it needs to be. Attach this to here. Something like that, maybe. Play the game. Okay. Move it forward. Still catching on it. Move it back. Move forward like that. Really catching on it. I do like it down here. I'm not sure why. I might shorten that a hair. And alright, in there. Grab our filter. Okay, which one's flowing? Flows this way. Shoot that back in there. that on there. It's hilarious. Not gonna work. But I had to try it for fun. Okay. Now I'm gonna guess that I want it down in here. I'm going to just stick this on here. Like so. And then get this like this. Okay. It's not perfect yet. Look at this zip tie. Alright, I'm going to call that good. Sure. Okay. Stick that on there. Pull that down. I may or may not have to zip tie to something down here. Maybe right there. But the idea is to get it out of the way of all this assembly, as much as possible. Still make it visible here. So I might actually take off a bit more. Don't go too crazy. There. Send that back. Something like that. Still catching it. There. Alright. So if I zip tie the middle thing right there, do some weird shit. That's still a crazy 90 degree I don't like. Just want to get it down out of the way as much as possible. Okay, so go over here and look, see what we can tie to. I'm gonna play the zip ties. So if I bring this over here, what's that do? Almost there. Let's start with that. Like that. Over here. That still very much gets in the way. So then, I take this, race around there. Zip tie that down like that. That's much better. It's still hitting the filter, which is not the best thing ever. Maybe I can pull these wires back a little bit. Something like that. There we go. Alright, sure. Let's do that. We get some hose clamps in here. Should help a lot. There's one line with the filter. This one's going to be even more fun. Okay, so it goes down through there and around over here. Let's see. Start off over here. Like that. Look down over here. see if we can get this removed from here. So we're going to look at 6 fuel injector clamps. We're going to need to replace these guys. Because of the filter. If I can get this one off. Okay. That didn't work for crap. Okay. Let's try our needle nose. This is just the worst place to do this. No real room to maneuver. Off there. Silly goose. One side, there's the other. Haha. That looks like it went off. Nice. Okay. Now we just need to get the rubber part off. Come on. There it goes. Pull the clamp off. Of course, a little bit of gasoline. Ha! Now, go back over here with our actual pliers again, hopefully. And we're going to get the hose off here. There it goes, like that. Okay. Hose clamp off there. How did it go? There it is. Just like that. And let's see if this is any more pliable, huh? Not really. Okay. Figure out where this went up through here. Like so. Push it through. All right. To remove all these things and put on some proper clamps once I get them, but let's just get them there. I kind of like that better. Something like that. Find a place to zip tie these guys so they don't interfere with anything else. Oh, well, sure. Something like that. That's about where it was. clip this one. Set that up. Right, where was that? A little more tension. Just like whatever. Alright, we're definitely going to need a clamp on that side. That fits weird. Let's go through here and make sure we got that piped correctly. Does it go through there or around that piece? There is an opening there. Sure, let's see. If it does go through there, I'm not a fan. Because that is part of the insulating of the thing and it might affect the flow. So, I want to put it back through here for now. Doesn't seem to interfere with anything. And it's on there. Not the greatest. Let's go back and look at how this one was. So yeah, it's doing the same thing. And that's it, completely repiped. I need to go get some new clamps. Yeah, I got 6 of them. We have 4 of the old ones, which still leaked before, but that could just been because of the old pipes. But I don't really want to take a chance and leave it without clamps. So we'll get the clamps and continue that. For now, I'm going to stick the new propeller on it. Although, with the leak that's down there, let me put the cover back on. Let's go look at the bottom end. That is concerning. I'm gonna crack a little oil space over here. Oh yeah, it was under pressure. Big time, for some reason. See if it shows any better for giggles. It does. How curious. I wonder what caused all the pressure in it. I'll take a look at that. Oh. Stick it in gear. There's no way to keep it from sparking, unfortunately. Just take it easy. Okay. That's unusual. Why does it build up pressure whenever it moves? I know up there is definitely going to build pressure. Okay. Take this all the way out. That's weird. I don't know why it built up pressure on it like that. Huh. So weird. So, I'll have to look that up, see if I can figure out why that was. But for now, let's look at the propeller. To do that, I'm going to need more fasteners. Where did I put my fasteners? I have to fast forward through me fiddling around to find these guys. What did I do with that? Got two boxes of two different sizes, and I'm not finding either one of them. See if I come back over here. Glancing, searching, checking. I don't know. Oh, what a simple thing it is. Whole box of them. 2 whole boxes. Definitely gonna fast forward through this. I am searching. And I don't know. Where I put my boxes of fasteners. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna find these fasteners and then I'll be back.